Hi, this is John Hanrahan with Computer Science cs225. This is my product tutorial, and what I'm doing is Microsoft Word for Beginners, and that is version 2016 that we're going to be doing this tutorial on. The first thing you're going to notice in Microsoft Word is the templates that you can choose from. Most people choose the blank template because they want to create their own thing. But if you are using, if you're creating a resume or a cover letter, or if you're using a specific style like APA format, the templates, there might be a one that's made for you that would be handy. And you can also take the basic tour of Word from that section. Here's what this looks like. This is when you first, when you select you want a new document. It says new, and it shows the templates right here that you can choose from. One of them probably says resume, I know, another one's going to say cover letter, and there's different variations of each. One thing you're going to want to be very familiar with is the ribbon, because that is what Microsoft Word, where you access just about everything. It's the horizontal bar at the top of the page that has multiple tabs on it. There are menu options. Most beginners will mainly use the File, Home, and maybe others like Insert and Share on the ribbon, and we'll show you a picture of that here in a second. Here is the Microsoft Word 2016 ribbon. It looks much like other ribbons from previous versions. You see it up top. And we're going to talk about several of these items, including the different tabs, well, at least the different tabs that you're going to be most likely using with your Microsoft Word when you're first getting into it. The chances are, if you found this video, you know how to use computers, and you've probably used many of these applications before. But I learned a little bit through the creation of this video when I was researching. Line spacing. You can choose the space between lines and paragraphs. This is good for if, let's say, you want to create something that's double spaced. Maybe you want a single spaced document that you write. Sometimes you may want to remove spacing after a paragraph. And that's something that I create. Text alignment is how the words are situated on the page, left or right. A paragraph happens anytime you hit the enter key after a line. So if you just type in one line and hit enter, the Microsoft Word 2016 considers that a new paragraph. And the rules that are applied to it will happen. Toggle these options from the Home tab. So everything that we're talking about here with line spacing and alignment, you can do all that from the Home tab. Here are those options on the Home tab. You can see right here the paragraph. You can highlight a paragraph. If you don't highlight it, nothing will happen. The default is a line left. So all your words will be on the left side of the screen. However, you can center them as well. Let's say you have a title of a document. You can highlight that and center it. Here's line spacing, where you can. It actually shows over here. I hope you can see. It's here's 1.0. Here's 2.0 if I want double space my paragraph, or maybe my whole document. And then here's remove space after paragraph. That is the option that I select most times. Because when I say, hey, this is my name, John Hanrahan, this is cs225, and I put the date in the top left, I don't want an extra line every single time I hit enter. So I always remove the space after paragraph. Ways to indent, and there are many ways to indent. I'm just going to go through this quickly because a lot of you aren't watching this video just to learn how to indent. By the way, hitting the tab key is a great way to indent. It's what I do most of the time. But there's another quick way. You can see there's these little arrows left and arrows right. You just hit that, it'll indent left or right 0.5 inches. I looked on the ruler and made sure. This is from the Home tab. Yeah, use these arrows, so that's about that. Centering, here's where I showed that I had, here's my name. I highlight it, And then if I hit this middle part here, bam, you can see that what was over here is now centered. And it shows that that's lit up as a centered paragraph option that I chose. Alright, and then here's the ruler bar that I made visible. So, go to the View tab and select the option Ruler. This will make the ruler visible at the top of the page, and that's only if you care about indenting manually and using the 3 triangles that we're going to talk about here in a second. Otherwise, like I said, just use the tab key. Top left triangle indents the first line in the paragraph. Like it says, whatever paragraph you have highlighted, it'll only grab the first line, and the rest of it will be indent left like default. Here I have something else chosen, you can see, because all the rest of the lines are indented, but the first line is not indented. And that's another option. It's probably the bottom triangle. Bottom triangle indents all but the first line in the paragraph, so that's what I grabbed there. Bottom left square under the triangle indents the whole paragraph left or right, and the right triangle on the right. And here's my ruler up here. Here's my triangle on the left. Here's my other triangle on the left. It's the bottom, top, bottom, and there's square. So you can see that there. And then here's the triangle on the right that I was talking about. That ends. It'll choose where you want your line to end, and your line will start up again wherever you have your margin set there. Indenting continued. The Layout tab has the same functions as the ruler, but in a different format. So if you go to the Layout tab, whoopsie daisy, you got different boxes, and you can do the exact same things as I showed you here with the triangles, but you can do them in boxes. And if you right-click on any of this area here, a context menu will open that will actually, it's not really a context menu, it's a context box. It'll show you, it'll tell you a description of what each does. The File tab. Very important tab that we're going to be talking about, especially for a beginning video, because it's how you're going to be able to save things, how you're going to be able to share things, and it's going to be how you print things. So, there's a picture of a disk on the ribbon located in the upper left corner. It looks like an old floppy disk. It'll just be an icon. That would be save. However, you want to do a save as first from the File tab before you do a quick save, because that icon is a quick save button. The advantage of doing a save as is it allows you to pick a file name and where you want the file to be saved at, as well as what type of file type. Just leave it as docx. That's just fine right there for most purposes. Save as also allows you to save your file to your OneDrive. If you don't have a OneDrive, you'll have to sign up for one in order to use that option. And for a certain amount of space, it is free. Options to open, print, and share documents. So once you have a OneDrive account created, you'll be able to share documents with friends or colleagues simply by hitting the share button and then entering in their correct email address. And if they have a OneDrive, they'll be able to access it as well. Actually, I think if they just have a Word 2010 or more recent, they'll be able to view it. Let's see here, pictures of the File tab. So here's the File tab in all its glory. You have the save, save as, print, and share right here, and then here's protect document. It'll make it so that people, if you want certain people to only be able to view your document, you could set that option. You can also set options so that they can't edit it. So you could make editing options so that nobody can change the color or the font size or those type of things. You could have those all kind of locked in place. Sharing a document. It is becoming more common for people to edit a document online than to print out a bunch of paper or to email an attachment to somebody that might have a virus. A little bit of an extra program you don't want on your computer. This will save paper and ink, save you time, save you money. Because it's safer to view So considering you have the latest version, the most updated version of your web browser that you're using. It's great for group projects, no need to email back and forth. So, sharing a document, highly recommended. It can be found on the file menu as shown earlier. Sharing can also be found in the top right, and it'll look just like that. You just need to be logged into your OneDrive and have someone's email address. Clicking the share button will prompt you to enter the valid email. Yep, there it is. So here's where it says invite people. Here's me. I invited my dad, and he can edit my document that is complete gibberish. Probably, I was excited about that. What's this email? Protect the document. The file tab has a protect document button, like I was talking about earlier. It's right there. Yeah, we already talked about that. Restricting access. You can either make it so that it's a password that someone has to enter in order to view your document or edit it. Bullets and numbering. So bullets are exactly what I'm using here on this PowerPoint. They're just a round dot, and then you can write something, and it's a way of organizing lists. You could also want to maybe number your lists, and that option is here. You can number them. They just say 1, 2, 3 instead of dot, dot, dot. And you can see just how that would look. Bold, italic, underline. So now that we know how to kind of organize things on the page, you can also manipulate the letters. And here, in the Home tab, you can see the bold, italic, and underline. You have to actually highlight with your mouse. And this is not to be confused with the highlight button, that we're going to hear about it in a second. But if you use highlight with your mouse, where you just drag and select something, you can make it bold, italic, or underline, just by clicking the button after you selected it. Font types and size, you can also, by the same thing, you select it with your mouse. You can choose your font family. You can choose how big you want the letters to be. And here's just a screenshot of what some of the different font families are when you click on this button here. If you increase or decrease the font size, whatever's selected will get bigger or smaller. Highlighting and changing color of text. So here's your menu buttons. Here's the actual highlight button, and here's the changing color of your text button. When you click on each one of these little triangles here, one of these arrows, you'll see a palette appear of just basically quick palettes where you can select the color of what you want to highlight or what you want to change your text to. You can also make a custom palette, but we're not going to go into that. So here's some examples. I highlighted these words here. I mean, it's gibberish, but here's a highlight. I highlighted in yellow, then I highlighted in green. And then here's me making a red H, green H, yellow H, and blue H, using that option right there for the colors. Create a header. You just double click at the top of the page, and that'll open up the header menu right away. Or, if you want to, go to the Insert tab and choose the header button. Either way, it'll be good to go. You can choose a pre-formatted header. I usually choose blank, and then I write them out my own, like maybe page 1. However, if you do that without creating a new section at the beginning of each page, it's kind of a more advanced thing. They're all going to say page 1. So I would recommend just choosing maybe like one of the. There'll be one right next to it here. It says page number if you want. You can just click on it, and then on the top left it'll say 1, 2, 3, 4, depending on what page you're on. It won't say page 1, page 2, etc. But at least you'll have numbered pages. But yeah, here's the header, and there's different things you can choose for that. The Insert tab, you can insert tables, pictures, shapes, charts, and more. There's a lot of stuff you can put in your Word documents. Pictures, I was constantly doing, so just go to insert pictures. Usually for tables, you're going to be using Microsoft Excel, which is a different program, though you can access your Excel documents from Word. But anyway, let's say you just want to make a small little table just to demonstrate something. You can definitely put that in from the Insert tab. Pictures open up your Pictures folder in your Microsoft Explorer section of the Windows 10 operating system. You can grab a picture from there, or if you want to open something from a different folder, since File Explorer is open, you can grab a picture that you put in a different folder. Here's the tables on the Insert tab, and here's for pictures. When you select Table, it'll ask you pretty much what dimensions you want it to be, and you can kind of with your mouse hover over the dimensions of boxes that you want, and they'll turn black as you're hovering over them, and you'll be able to select what you want your table to look like. And then it'll start off as, and then I think you might have to hit Insert Table after that. But anyways, after your table appears, it's probably going to be too small, the cells are. I got mine to be more visible, and the way you do that is you pull on a corner. If you get your mouse over to the corner, it could be left corner, it could be right corner, bottom left, bottom right, does not matter. You'll be able to change the size of the table while at the same time keeping that ratio the same of length to width. So it'll still look like the same shape. Or if you want to, you could pull on the left or pull on the top or bottom or pull on the right to make it to stretch it out. And if you do that, it's going to be it's not going to be the same ratio. So it might warp things and make them look kind of weird. But you know, if it's your table, you can do what you want, and sometimes that's what you need to do. So here's the Shapes button that you can press. And choose the shape you want from the Shapes drop-down menu. There's lots of them. It'll be a solid color by default. And you can manipulate the shape size the same way as a table by just grabbing a corner and expanding it or shrinking it. After creating a shape, the Shape Fill option will be available. Click on that button and check No Fill if you want the shape to just be an outline. So that way you could have like a square border per se. You could even do that and just put that around a paragraph if you want. The Review tab. Spelling and grammar is checked automatically, but you can find the options in this tab. I have never been to the Review tab other than when I was learning about this video. Mainly because when you spell stuff wrong, by default, Microsoft Word 2016 is going to underline your word with a red line, and you can see it's kind of squiggly. This says POWR spelling. I was trying to say pour incorrectly. Unfortunately, this was spelled so incorrectly that when I right-clicked on the word, it did not have the correct spelling option for what I wanted. So in that case, you have to retype your word, spell your word, and you're going to spell it wrong again, probably, because you don't know how to spell the word, but then you can right-click on it again and see a different list of words, and then you might find it there and go, oh, that's the word I wanted that's spelled correctly. And here I put I is good, it's underlined with blue color in Microsoft Word 2016. I would just right-click on the is and try to get maybe I am good today. The am would be the choice it would tell me to pick. So here's what I already told you. You can right-click on a word that is spelled wrong to get that list of words to pick from. If you don't see your word, try changing your spelling a little, and then try again, and do the same thing with grammar. So that's simple. Summary. Hope I got this here in 15 minutes. Everything is on the ribbon. The File tab is mainly used to save and print, but you can do other things like share. Sharing is the best way to collaborate. There's many different ways to indent. You now know how to use line spacing, get double spaces, remove spaces after a paragraph. You can highlight, underline, italicize, and make things bold. You know how to choose the font family and a font size. You know how to choose different headers, insert tables and pictures, size pictures and tables, use spelling and grammar options that it has. Let's see here. So thank you for watching, and if you made it this far, I appreciate it. Thank you.